Fleet Commander Zix Thara settled into the bio-neural interface of her flagship, the harmonious resolution, and felt the familiar sensation of her consciousness merging with the ship's collective intelligence. Around her, the bridge crew of the Confederation's finest vessel prepared for what should have been a routine first contact scenario. The humans had finally responded to diplomatic overtures with coordinates for a meeting in neutral space. After months of long-range communications, both species had agreed to a formal introduction of their respective naval capabilities, a standard show of strength that typically preceded trade negotiations. "Sensor contact," reported her tactical officer. "Human vessel approaching from Vector 7 Mark 12. Single ship, approximately 2 kilometers in length." Zix Thara nodded approvingly. A reasonable size for a diplomatic vessel. The Confederation had sent the Harmonious Resolution, their most advanced battlecruiser, as an appropriate display of their civilization's technological achievements. The ship was a work of art, crystalline bioarchitecture that could repair itself, weapons systems that could precisely disable rather than destroy, and shielding technology that rendered conventional warfare obsolete. "Visual contact established," announced the sensor operator. The main display showed the approaching human vessel, and Zix Thara felt her first moment of unease. Where Confederation ships were elegant curves and living crystal, the human ship was all angles and brutal functionality. It looked less like a vessel designed for exploration or even warfare, and more like something built with a single terrible purpose. "They're hailing us," communications reported. The holographic display flickered to life, showing a human in what appeared to be a military uniform. The being looked remarkably similar to the Confederation's own species bipedal, bilateral symmetry, what the humans called humanoid, but there was something in the human's eyes that made Zix Thara uncomfortable. "Fleet Commander Zix Thara," the human said. "I am Captain Sarah Mitchell of the UES Retribution. We're honored to meet representatives of the Galactic Confederation." "The honor is mutual, Captain Mitchell," Zix Thara replied, following diplomatic protocols. "Your species' recent emergence into interstellar space has generated considerable interest. Might I suggest we proceed with the traditional exchange of technological information?" Captain Mitchell smiled, an expression that somehow seemed predatory, despite its apparent friendliness. "Of course. We'll transmit our vessel specifications for your review. Please feel free to conduct whatever scans you feel are appropriate." Zix Thara nodded to her tactical officer. "Initiate deep structure analysis. Full spectrum scan." What happened next would haunt her for the rest of her extremely long life. The scan began routinely enough, penetrating the human ship's hull to map its internal structure. But as the data streamed in, Zix Thara began to understand that she was looking at something far beyond her experience. "Commander," her tactical officer's voice carried a note of confusion. "The human vessel appears to be hollow." "Hollow?" Approximately 60% of the ship's internal volume consists of empty space. Vast chambers containing. I'm not certain how to interpret this data. Zix Thara ordered the scans to continue, and the picture that emerged made her bio-neural interface recoil in horror. The human ship wasn't designed around the principles of efficiency or protection that governed Confederation vessels. Instead, it seemed to be built around the concept of carrying something. "Commander," the sensor operator reported, voice tight with disbelief. "I'm detecting approximately 50,000 life signs aboard the human vessel." 50,000? Zix Thara's mandibles clicked in shock. What manner of delegation requires? Her words died as the deep scan data processed fully. The 50,000 life signs weren't crew members. They were soldiers. The vast hollow spaces in the human ship weren't cargo bays or living quarters, they were troop transports, armories, and what could only be described as mobile factories for weapons of war. But that wasn't the worst discovery. "Commander," her xenobiology specialist spoke from across the bridge, her voice hollow with shock. "The human soldiers aren't. They aren't standard humans." The detailed biological scans revealed the truth. The 50,000 beings aboard the human ship had been systematically modified for warfare. Enhanced muscle density, reinforced skeletal structures, modified nervous systems for faster reaction times, and most disturbing of all, alterations to their brain chemistry that appeared to suppress empathy and enhance aggressions. "They've turned themselves into living weapons," the specialist whispered. Zixthara felt the ship's collective intelligence recoil from the scan data as if it were contaminated. In 4,000 years of galactic civilization, no species had ever voluntarily modified their own people into instruments of violence. "There's more," the tactical officer reported reluctantly. "The weapon systems aren't designed for precision strikes or disabling shots. Every weapon on that ship is built to maximize destruction and suffering." "And Commander, they're scanning us too." Captain Mitchell's voice crackled over the communication channel. "Commander Zixthara, I notice your scans have become quite intensive. I hope you're finding our ship design interesting." Zixthara struggled to maintain diplomatic composure. "Your vessel is certainly unlike anything in our experience, Captain." "I imagine so," Mitchell replied, her smile widening. "The Retribution is what we call a planetary assault carrier. She's designed to deliver 50,000 enhanced Marines to any world that requires pacification. The ship's name isn't metaphorical, Commander. It's a promise." The bridge fell silent as the implications sank in. The humans hadn't sent a diplomatic vessel to this meeting. They had sent a mobile invasion force capable of conquering an entire planet. "But don't worry," Captain Mitchell continued. "We're here for diplomacy today. The Retribution and her sister ships are currently assigned to what we call peaceful exploration. We have 200 vessels of this class exploring the galactic rim, making contact with new civilizations." 200. Zixthara's bioneural interface sparked with alarm. The humans had built 200 ships capable of planetary conquest, and they called it an exploration fleet. "We understand that some species might find our approach to interstellar relations robust," Mitchell said. "But humans have learned that the galaxy can be a dangerous place. We prefer to be prepared for any eventuality." Zixthara finally understood what they were dealing with. The humans hadn't just developed interstellar travel, they had weaponized it. Their entire approach to galactic civilization was built around the assumption that every first contact was a potential military engagement. "Captain Mitchell," Zixthara managed, "perhaps we should proceed directly to trade negotiations." "An excellent suggestion," Mitchell replied. "I think you'll find that the Confederation and humanity have much to offer each other. After all, in a galaxy full of potential threats, it's important to have the right friends." As the human captain's image faded from the display, Zixthara realized that the balance of galactic power had just shifted dramatically. The Confederation had spent millennia building a civilization based on harmony and mutual cooperation. The humans, apparently, had built theirs around the concept of overwhelming force, and they called it peaceful exploration.